Hello, dear learners, and welcome back to our English podcast. This space is for you to immerse yourself in authentic English, grasp useful expressions, and refine your listening. Think of every episode as a tool that will equip you for real-life situations. Stay motivated, keep your mind open, and remember that every small step counts. Now, let's move forward into the story we'll share today. When I turned 18, I felt both excitement and apprehension. At this age, I could finally obtain a driving license. That meant real freedom. I imagined myself riding through the crowded city, passing buses, and watching every road sign. My parents told me to look carefully at the city before driving, so I booked ride-hailing services or asked my friend to carry me. During those trips, I learned how drivers reacted to sudden horns, how they avoided the glare of high beams at night, and how they followed the rhythm of traffic. Driving here was not only about controlling a machine, it was about adapting to the peculiar rules of the streets. Every morning I booked a ride-hailing motorcycle just to observe. I looked at how drivers avoided buses and trucks. At intersections they always moved carefully. Many used the horn not aggressively but as a signal. I tried to memorize the sequence of lights. Sometimes the peculiar sound of honks felt like a secret code. My friend told me not to panic in congestion. He said to avoid driving recklessly, but also not to wait too long. One day in the rain, I saw a driver stop calmly. He refused to enter a flooded street. That short moment taught me patience and strategy. The first day, I touched the handlebar of my motorcycle. My heart beat fast. I had learned many lessons from observation, but practice was different. When I pressed the start button, the engine made a loud sound. The vibration ran through my arms. I moved slowly on the narrow street. I watched the sequence of lights, the sudden pedestrians, and the unpredictable moves of other vehicles. At one intersection, a bus turned fast and intimidating. My hands trembled, but I remembered the advice. Be careful, but also firm. That first ride was not graceful, but it was my initiation into real driving. Driving every day showed me that the real test was not only technical skill. The streets were always full. With many layers of vehicles, there was congestion near schools and offices. Under the tropical sun, I felt exhaustion. The glare from cars made me almost blind. The peculiar rhythm of horns grew louder. Some people drove recklessly, others waited quietly. At one intersection, a truck ignored lane markings and pushed everyone aside. I felt small, but I followed the majority. That was my way to survive. Each ride was another adaptation. Each mistake was a harsh lesson. One afternoon, the sky turned dark. Heavy rain started. The street became a river. I had to decide: follow the crowd into the water or wait. I remembered the driver who stopped before. His calm face stayed in my mind. Many riders went forward, splashing and shouting. But I felt the risk. My engine almost stalled. I stopped near the sidewalk and asked a passerby. He gave me local knowledge. A small alley nearby was safe. I followed his advice and went home. That day I learned that stubbornness on the road only brings inconvenience. Sometimes, survival needs humility. Night rides were different. The city looked strange. The glare of high beams made me squint. The soundscape changed. Fewer voices, but every horn sounded louder. I used my strategy again. I kept a steady speed. I avoided reckless overtaking. At one deserted intersection, I hesitated. There was no majority to follow, only my own choice. My hands trembled, but I continued. After some minutes, the motorcycle's sound felt reassuring. The peculiar beauty of the night city appeared, but it asked for strong focus. Having a motorcycle also meant protecting it. Stories of theft were everywhere. One night I parked at a small store. A man stood outside. He made peculiar gestures. His eyes followed the motorcycles. I felt apprehension. My parents had warned me. Only a lock was not enough. We needed vigilance. I bought things quickly and returned. My motorcycle was safe, but the man had disappeared. That night I imagined the inconvenience of losing it. From that day, I parked in guarded places. Security became part of my daily strategy. One weekend, I planned a trip with friends. I checked brakes, fuel, and brought a toolkit. I also carried a raincoat and cash because inconvenience outside the city could be worse. We rode many kilometers. The road showed both rough alleys and smooth highways. When rain came, I stopped and put on the raincoat. I remembered my old stubbornness and laughed. In a village, I asked for directions. The locals gave me advice with their local knowledge. Their kindness was a strong contrast to the harsh city. The long ride was tiring, but gave me more independence. After months of practice, I understood the truth. A motorcycle brought both joy and burden. On good days, it gave me freedom. I could move fast and avoid long waits. But it also needed maintenance, money, and strong focus. There was always the risk of theft. Sometimes I sat in heavy congestion under the sun, my shirt drenched with sweat. I asked myself if this was worth it. Then I passed a crowded bus stop and saw tired passengers waiting hopelessly. In that moment I smiled. The adaptation was complete. I was no longer a beginner. The road had tested me, and I had gained resilience. My motorcycle became my teacher. It taught me patience, humility, and endurance. Sometimes you may encounter a word in our practice that is not fully explained or clearly translated. Do not be concerned. This is a natural stage of learning. Making mistakes and experiencing confusion is not a setback. It is actually a necessary step forward. Always remember, practice is a gradual journey, never something achieved overnight. If you feel frustrated, take a deep breath and keep going. You can even repeat certain sentences while showering or brushing your teeth. Language learning is not about perfection. It is about forming a habit that gradually shapes your future. Thank you for joining me today. Keep up your practice, and I will see you again in the next episode.